wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, a disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
Hey guys, hey Nene, hey Spice, hey Yella, hey Jack Jack. Yeah, we're gonna start off early today because we didn't never get to we're gonna say S-H. I didn't use her name, I just used the name she used to go by. Okay. We never got to her her testimony. So let's check her testimony out. I should have put day 4, but because we got other ones to get to. So we're gonna start this off now.
And how did you find this bishop in his group?
I found him on Facebook.
Okay. And I guess when did you how did you first begin to engage with them?
So I first saw a video of the group in May 2017, and then later on that year, around Thanksgiving in 2017, I saw a video of Mr. Bishop teaching, and then that's when I went on his timeline and saw that those people were actually living with him, and they were all part of the same group.
And what did you think of that?
I thought it was beautiful that they were living in the tropics and living off the land, like eating fruit off the trees in Costa Rica and being able to like live freely and have this knowledge of themselves and of what life and reality is and have this community lifestyle.
Is that what was appealing about the life that he offered?
Yes, definitely. That's what was most appealing.
When did you leave home to go stay with the group?
I left on December 10th, 2017.
And where was the group located at that point?
They were located in Texas.
And how was it arranged for you? I guess, where were you geographically before you left to go to Texas?
I was living in Seattle, Washington.
So how was it arranged for you to get from Seattle to Texas?
So I spoke with one of the members there. He reached out to me on Facebook, and we started chatting back and forth. And then he FaceTimed me, and Eligio got into the frame, and he was like, "If you're coming, you better come now. We're about to leave. We're about to go to Belize." And so I bought my plane ticket.
And that conversation with Mr. Bishop on the FaceTime, was that the first time that you had directly communicated with him, or had y'all talked before that?
That was the first time.
When you arrived in, was it Houston or what part of Texas?
I'm not sure what kind of Texas it was.
When you arrived in Texas, how did you get from the airport to the group?
The entire group came to meet me at the airport.
And what was that like?
It was like a lot of love. Like, they showed up, they all got out of the cars that they were in. They all gave me hugs. They were smiling. They were saying, "Welcome home." Yeah, it was like very warm, like a warm welcome.
And how long did you all stay in Texas before you went to Belize?
It was about 2 or 3 weeks we stayed there.
Did you bring personal belongings with you?
Yes, I brought just like clothes, you know, all the cards, like debit cards and credit cards I had, my ID. I didn't have a passport, but like my birth certificate, all that stuff, like I brought with me.
And what happened were you able to keep your belongings when you joined the group?
So they checked my bags, and they told me what I couldn't have there and what I could. So like they threw away stuff that was like my sketchbooks and things that we didn't believe in, and they wanted me to hand over my credit cards, my debit cards, and stuff like that. Any money, cash I had.
Crazy.
How much cash or money did you bring with you?
I think it was about $700 total.
And within the group, did you go by your legal name?
This NASA red light healing device is now available in the US. This is a state-of-the-art $5,000 injury healing device. It was originally developed so that astronauts could grow plants in space to give them food and oxygen. It made plants grow so
that the first night, Eligio he looked at me and he was like, "I want to figure out what to name you." And I can't remember if it was that night or not, but he ended up giving me the name.
And how was your relationship with Eligio when you first got there?
There wasn't really a relationship. He kind of communicated to other people that he would want to communicate to me. I remember posting on my Instagram things like memes or quotes and stuff like that. And he told one of the guys to call me into his space, where he was. And he told me where did you find these quotes from that you're posting? And this is my teachings. Why didn't you acknowledge me when you posted that? So there was kind of the first interactions with him was just him establishing himself. I think to me as he's the leader.
Were there rules within the group?
Yes, yeah, there were a lot of rules.
How did you come to learn about those rules?
The first night I was given a tour of this is how we do things. They were telling me if when we go to the bathroom, we go outside, number 1 and 2. If you toilet paper, you could use 2 squares of toilet paper to go number 1 and 6 squares of toilet paper to go number 2. And If you wanted to use the bathroom inside the house, like you couldn't use the toilet or the shower, just the sink. And you had to keep the door either propped open or unlocked because it was like a no lock door policy. If you wanted to go into the kitchen, you had to be permitted to go into the kitchen. You weren't allowed to cook, unless you were given permission.
When you say given permission, like where would this permission come from?
I'm stuck on the 6 squares of tissue for number 2. Like, y'all literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That ain't enough. 6 is not enough to wrap around my hand and wrap around my hand and wrap around my hand some more. Like, it gotta be a whole little wrap around to be able to. 6 ain't enough for number 2, and 2 squares for number 1. What is this, like a 15 ply?
Alito would say, okay, well, what he did say was, okay, well, I know someone else that you can be with. And then he basically set me and this other person up together. And then we had like this little ceremony where it was like a wedding, because there was no boyfriend and girlfriend. You were either wife and husband or you're not together, and you had to be with someone. You couldn't be by yourself. So, it was always like you had to ask permission to not be with someone or to be with someone. And if he wanted you to not be with that person and break up, that's what had to happen.
And were there times that like there would just be no relationships?
There was times when he would say, like, I want all of the women to be separate from the men. Okay. And then he would just be with the women and the men would be separate.
Were folks within the group able to say no to Mr. Bishop?
No, I don't think so.
And what would happen if somebody did?
It would be a major issue to disagree with him. It would be like hours of meetings. Like if you would disagree with him, he would bring it to a meeting. He would always say like, okay, well, prove to me how you're right and I'm wrong. And so you would think that you're getting into this meeting and you have facts to like bring up why what you're saying is, a valid argument, but he would always dominate the conversation. And then you would end up basically just giving in like, fine, you're right. Or everyone else being like, yeah, we agree with him, you're wrong. And then towards my last years being there, like the last kind of months being there, actually, it was just like, anything you did to disagree with him, you would just get slapped, you would just be physically harmed, you sometimes jumped, it just, yeah.
And just so we can set up the timeline, when did you ultimately cut ties with the group?
In April of 2022, after Mr. Bishop's arrest.
So the time period where you're saying the last few months before you left, would that have been early 2022?
Yes.
What did members of the group call Mr. Bishop?
In the beginning, when I first got there, we called him Master Teacher. Then he wanted to be called Father Tahuti. Then he wanted to be called Chief. Then he wanted us to call him our Lord and Savior. And then Babaji. And then eventually he wanted us to call him, the women, he wanted us to call him Papi. Or God. Everyone had to either call him God or Three God by the end.
And safe to say that his title sort of evolved over time?
Yes.
How did the defendant refer to the rest of the outside world?
The outside world was hell. It was Babylon. It was everyone outside of the cult was in their lower self. So they were like an unevolved, person, somebody that didn't have knowledge of self.
And how did Mr. Bishop look at folks communicating with their family or friends that were outside of the group?
Originally, like for me personally, he told me not to tell my family I was leaving home, because he said they wouldn't understand. Don't tell your right hand what your left hand is about to do. They're gonna try to talk you out of it. So when I got there, well, before I left, I ended up blocking all of my family members' numbers. And when I got there, you know, my family was obviously worried and stuff like that. So I told them, ended up calling them and telling them where I was. But out of my like 4.5 years of being there, I only talked to my mom a handful of times. I only talked to other family members a handful of times. He really didn't like us talking to outside people. He thought it was just like those people don't understand us. They don't know who we are. They're gonna put things in your ear. They're gonna try to convince you to go back to your lower self. And we really could only talk to family members who were like supplying us with money or some type of resource. That was like the only time he even wanted us to reach out. Like, reach out to your people because we need money right now, but not just to like communicate with them.
And in your time that you were there, did you see other members of the group leave the group during that time?
Yes.
And how would Mr. Bishop respond to the fact that folks were leaving?
People trying to leave the group was like, it was always just like this big drawn out thing. Hours and hours of sitting there going back and forth with the person about why they're doing something wrong, opening the Bible up and showing them these Bible verses that prove that they're going back to their lower self, putting something else before the kingdom of God, putting their family or their kids or anybody before the kingdom of heaven. So they're gonna end up in hell. And at the end of their lives, like, well, when they die, they're gonna have committed the biggest sin, which is to go against the Christ, to go against, you know, the Most High. And at some points, it was like people were jumped. People were physically harmed for trying to leave, for just saying they wanted to leave. A lot of people left in the middle of the night because it wasn't really safe to tell somebody that you wanted to leave.
Your Honor, at this point, I think the limiting instruction that I provided would be appropriate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to read you some more information. I need to remind you that sometimes evidence is admitted for a limited purpose or for some counts and not others. Such evidence may be considered by the jury for the sole issue or purpose and only for the counts for which the evidence is limited and not for any other purpose. In order to prove its case in count 1, rape, the state has offered evidence of other offenses of sexual assault allegedly committed by the accused. You are permitted to consider that evidence for its bearing on any matter to which you find it to be relevant. The defendant is on trial for the offenses charged in this bill of indictment only and not for any other acts, even though such acts may incidentally be criminal. Before you may consider any other alleged acts, you must first determine whether the accused committed the other alleged acts and whether such acts were in fact acts of sexual assault. If so, you must then determine whether the act shed any light on the elements of the crimes charged in the indictment in this trial. Such evidence is, at most, supporting evidence of some issues and may not by itself be the basis of conviction for the case on trial. By giving this instruction, the court in no way suggests to you that the defendant has or has not committed any other acts, nor whether such acts, if committed, prove anything. This is solely a matter for your determination. Go ahead.
During the time you're in the group, did anything happen that made you believe that the defendant had developed a sexual interest in you?
Yes.
I was just going to say, about how long after you got there did that happen?
I would say it was a few weeks, maybe a month, where I heard him say that when he found out I was a virgin, he had asked the universe for a virgin, and he he implied that, like, he told me that he could open me up.
And was that in Belize at that point?
We were traveling actually, like through Mexico, so we were like in the car.
And did you share his interest in a sexual relationship?
No.
And did you express?
Why is filing your taxes with Free Tax USA different? Well, for starters, our premium federal tax returns are free for everyone, no matter what. With a free offer like this, people often ask, so how do you make money? While our federal return is always free, we make money from our optional paid services, like our state tax return, which is less than $20. Next, you may be asking, is Free Tax USA safe? Yes, we always keep your information encrypted, private, and secure. As an authorized e-file provider, we've securely filed over 60 million tax returns directly with the IRS. Finally, you need to be sure, will my taxes be done right? We guarantee it. All of our calculations are guaranteed accurate. We also guarantee you'll get your biggest possible refund. Trying something different this year could save you $100 or more on your tax filing. Making the switch is easy. Try Free Tax USA today.
Your feelings to the defendant about whether or not you wanted to ever act on his interest in you?
Yes.
When did that happen?
When we were in Belize, he's like, me and his wife, or the woman that he was with at the time, Velvet, we got close, we were friends, and he invited me into the tent with them both one night to watch a movie. And I was laying next to her, and he was laying next to her on the other side. And he, like in the middle of the movie, sometime during the movie, he was just told us like he wanted to break my virginity.
And how did you respond?
I don't remember saying anything. I just remember being scared. And he told her that he wanted her to be there and to hold my hand. And I remember her just like being upset and saying she didn't want to do it, and him yelling and saying, "You're gonna do it." And then he turned on music and he broke my virginity.
And were you all like in a city or in the forest, or like where were you?
We were kind of like in a small town in Belize, but we had a house, but we slept in tents.
Okay. And in that moment, like, what were you, like, were you, in that moment, like, did you feel like you had options?
No, like he was my higher self. So it's like whatever he wanted from me, whatever he wanted me to do, it's just, I just did.
And how long had you been away from home by that point?
It has to at least be, it probably was almost 6 months.
And were there other instances of sexual contact between you and the defendant?
After that, yes.
And I guess, did you feel like, did you ever develop a romantic relationship with the defendant?
I wouldn't call it a romantic relationship.
How would you describe it?
It was like he wanted to have sex with me when he wanted to have sex with me, and he would just say like, "I'm really attracted to you right now. I think I'm supposed to give you something," you know, like because he believed that his sperm or his like he believed that his sperm had higher knowledge in it. You know, it was like if you were to swallow it or if you were to take it in, he believed that it would make you smarter, it would make you more enlightened, and so it was like he would say that the universe told him to have sex with certain people at certain times. Sometimes
This is the
people,
downloads we were
you know,
talking
like
about
just,
in the other
he
video.
would say that he got this calling, that's what's supposed to happen, and that's what it was. It wasn't like oh, we love each other, so we're gonna, you know.
Was there a time in, I think it was Mexico, that stands out in your mind to defend it?
Yeah. Yes.
What was going on that day?
So I was with someone else. I was with another guy in the cult. Should I say his name?
Sure.
Okay. Aaron. I was with Aaron at the time. And we were in a relationship together, and Elijah had called me up to his room, and another woman told me that he called me, like he told a woman to tell me. And I remember telling Aaron, like, I'm just gonna go up there and see what he wants, like, but I don't wanna do anything with him, so it's not gonna happen. And I went up there and he started just coming on to me and trying to kiss me and touch me. And I told him, I'm like, no, I don't wanna do this. Like, I'm with someone else, I don't wanna do this with you. And he told me to shut up, and he took me to the bathroom and made me give him oral.
And was anyone else there at that point?
I believe like Velvet came in later, but not at the time.
Not at the time.
Not the time where he was making moves and doing those things.
Were there any other times in the group that Mr. Bishop forced himself on you?
I want to see his face.
I think that there was never a time where I felt like it was my choice to have sex with Mr. Bishop. I always felt like it was something that I had to do because he was my God, he was my Lord and Savior, and this is what the divine wanted, this is what God wanted at this point in time. And that ultimately maybe I would be more enlightened if I just did it.
I guess you were still part of the group when they left, right?
Yes.
What do you remember about the night before she left?
I remember, I think I remember quite a bit about what was going on at that time. I remember once we had company over, like someone that he knew. And
Was this a guy or girl?
I think it was a guy and two girls or something like that. And the girls, where we were talking to the girls, all the women were talking to the girls, like not in another room. And I remember like we just had this thing where it was like outsiders, where we always had to look at them like they were of their lower self, like we couldn't get too close to them. And I remember just getting really friendly with the women that were visiting, and it was like all the other women were looking at her like, you're not supposed to be doing that. And so once they left and everything, it was like an issue that she was being too friendly with those women.
So when you say it was an issue that was brought up, did y'all as the other women bring it up, or did Mr. Bishop bring it up?
I believe it was probably one of the women that brought it up because, yeah, I think that he wasn't in the room at that time to even know if that's what was going on.
Gotcha.
But I believe, yeah, one of the women brought it up, and he then wanted to address it with her and everybody in the room.
Okay. How did he go about addressing it?
So he had this room where he would like sit behind this big desk, and he told everybody to pull up, which is like everybody come, be gather around basically. And he told her to get on her knees, which is just something like, it's like what we had to do to address him all the time. We couldn't be like standing. If he's sitting, we couldn't be standing. We had to be on our knees or on our face or whatever, like just lower than him. And so he told her to get on her knees, and he started addressing her about what happened. She started wanting to explain herself, and he was upset that she was like talking out of turn. Like, he didn't want her to talk in certain moments, like you're not supposed to be talking, why are you talking? But she wanted to explain herself. And then I remember him telling her, like, if you keep talking out of turn, like you're gonna get smacked, like you're gonna get it. And then he said that I'm gonna have Zoka slap you, which is another member at the time. And Zoka walks behind and just kind of like stands behind her. And then as I don't know what the conversation was between Alicia, but they were kind of like going back and forth, kind of getting like upset because she's not able to express her point. He's saying she's being disrespectful, and she's not moving like we move. She's out of our frequency. I guess she talks out of turn again. Zoka just smacks her like hard, like it was a hard smack. And I think like I just like be in shock of that. And then the rest of us just like gathered around, like if she does something, like we're prepared that if we're trying to do something, somebody else is gonna step in because she's supposed to take that smack.
And was it just that one smack, or what happened next?
I believe after that, like, expressed like she doesn't want to be here anymore. She wants to leave, and that's when it started to get like, I say like verbally abusive, because excuse me, because yeah, expressing that you want to leave is just like no, but he was like, he would say like, go pack your bags, like get out of here. But everybody is like harassing her, like you're about to go back to your lower self. You giving up on your journey. You're giving up on yourself. All these things, and we're following her around the house as she's gathering her things and trying to pack up her things, and people are putting a camera in her face, like, look at her, she's leaving, she's gonna go back to just being a regular Babylonian, she's gonna go, and we're just like harassing her.
And at this point, like, you're participating in that as well?
Yes, and I'm telling her like, oh, you're weak, like you can't even stay here and just take it, like you're weak, you're gonna go back to your lower self. And she starts trying to pack as much stuff as she can, but she decided like she's gonna leave her clothes, because we start saying, you're gonna take everything back that you brought? Oh, look at you, that's the type of person that you are, really just getting to her. And she gathers her suitcase up and takes it downstairs, and as she's putting on her shoes on the stairs, that's when Eligio starts talking to her, and he's like, see, what you're about to do is, you know what you're about to do. You're going to end up coming back anyway. You might as well stay, because you're just going to go, what you're going to do, go to your grandmother's house, and then you're going to be upset and realize that you made a mistake going back to hell, and like, just going in on her while she's tying her shoes. You might as well not leave, because you're going to be right back. She ends up going out the door. Her Uber's outside. She takes her suitcase out to the Uber, and as soon as she gets to the door of the Uber is when I remember someone telling her, like, he wants to talk to you. And then she leaves, I remember her leaving her suitcase outside and coming back in the door and going up the stairs where he was to his room. And then, I remember him coming out of his room and taking her into the other third bedroom, door closed, and then,
When you say taking her in there, like leading her, they just walked in?
yeah, leaving her. It was leaving her.
And were you upstairs at all while they were up in that room?
No, I wasn't. Well, I was, but not when I saw them going into the room, I was downstairs.
Okay.
But while they had been in there, yeah, but I was upstairs in the other room.
Okay. And did you like hear anything going on in that room, or arguing, a struggle, anything happening that night?
I didn't hear that, no.
Okay. During your time in the group, I think we know we're on social media a lot. Like when you were in Carbonation, was the group present on social media?
Oh, yes, every day.
Yeah. And did you participate in some or all of those videos?
Yes.
And did anything get posted, to your knowledge, did anything get posted on Mr. Bishop's accounts without him being behind it?
No. In fact, everyone's page had to almost be identical to his. And he would say, like, this is what we're posting today. So you guys are all gonna post this, and yeah, he was always in control of what was being posted.
And while you were in the group, and even after Mr. Bishop was arrested, did you say positive things online about Mr. Bishop and the group?
Yes.
And today, as you sit here, do you feel like your views in those videos or interviews accurately reflect what happened in the group?
No, I don't. I feel that I was trying to protect him and his image, and just our image as what I thought was just like, we're Carbonation. We're this, this group of people who just are like-minded and we want to do something different. And so I was trying to protect that whole image, not really looking at the facts of the matter.
If I could have just a second here.
Sure.
What do y'all think of the
Ultimately, when
testimony?
did you leave Carbonation? I think you already said, but just so we can end with that.
It was April of 2022.
That's all the questions I have at this point. Thank you.
All right, Cross.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, Robert Booker, we've met before.
Yes.
All right, just a couple questions for you. So going back in December of 2017, that's when you first went into this group, is that correct?
December 2017.
Okay, and I believe from your testimony before, you had mentioned that you were living in somewhere up in north of the United States, Michigan or somewhere like that? Seattle, Washington. That's exactly right. And you had just graduated college.
He be getting
Is
that
that
on
correct?
wrong on purpose.
I was in school.
You were in college.
Pursuing degree.
Okay. All right. And so you came across this group online. You were pursuing some sort of natural lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you came across it online. They fit what you were seeing. And so you ended up leaving school, getting on a plane and going down to, I believe, Mexico, correct?
So no, I was interested in the lifestyle, but I left Seattle and they were in Texas.
In Texas. Okay. So from that time that you left until April 2022, you were with the group the majority of the time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you did go home at some point, but for the most part, you were with the group.
Yes, for the most part, I was with the group.
Okay. How many times do you think you went home over that time frame?
I went home one time.
Was that when you went with Vel?
Yes.
And with the child that she had?
Yes.
Okay, was that in 2020 or 21?
That was in 2020, I believe.
Okay. And Velvet at that time was married to Elijah Bishop. Is that correct? Or was his main girlfriend or whatever?
She wasn't legally married to him yet.
Okay.
Later on that year, she was.
Okay. And the child that she had with her was the child that they had together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, you indicated, I think, on your direct examination that relationships were sometimes together, sometimes they were not, but it wasn't unusual for males and females to have a relationship unless Mr. Bishop wanted to have a relationship with that female.
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So would it be possible for a female to be with another male outside of Mr. Bishop as long as Mr. Bishop didn't want to be with that female?
Yeah, it was unless if they got his permission
Okay.
to be with that female, then
Okay.
yes.
All right. And when they were with that female, were they with that person on a full-time basis where they would sleep in the same tent or room with them? Or did they sleep
If
separately?
that's what Livio wanted,
Okay.
a lot of times we would sleep as a community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we
everybody
all
just-
sleep in the same room. Yes.
Everybody on the floor in the same room?
Yes.
Okay. And that was when you guys were in Texas and various other places, kind of the same
Yes.
rules?
Yes. It was
Okay.
the same.
Okay. And the life that you guys were living at that time, it was for the world basically to see. People were in the lifestyle that was being lived, right?
What we were doing, a lot of people saw it
Yes,
online. Yes.
Okay. It was recorded and produced almost like every day, right?
A lot of it, yes.
Okay. And was it content that was produced that you said stuff in, Mr. Bishop said stuff in, kind of everybody did, right?
Yeah, I would say majority of the group were involved in the videos, like were present in the videos.
Okay. But Mr. Bishop, the underlying meaning behind the videos, Mr. Bishop was the person who pushed that forward. Is that fair to say? Okay. And what kind of video was going to be made? Did he come up with how it was going to be made or things like that?
He would come up with who's going live today, like who's getting on video today, what they're going to talk about. He would stand behind the camera, and if we said anything that he didn't like, he would gesture to us, or he would gesture to us what we should say or what would sound good and how we should sit, all that.
Was the scripted?
Not verbatim, like scripted, but we had a jargon, like we had a language that we spoke in.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times things were repeated so much, we had the answer for anything because we were saying the same response to
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right. Was everything that you guys were saying, was it true?
What do you mean? Was it true?
Was the image that you were portraying to the world, was it a true image? Or were you guys portraying some fiction?
We were not portraying what was truly going on, like all the time. Some of the things that were recorded were truth. Some of the things weren't. Like how we would say, "Oh, we're out here growing our own food, having this community lifestyle where everybody's happy and everybody's glowing and prospering." That wasn't the truth. Behind the cameras, there was a lot of things going on that weren't fitting that image.
Okay.
And then things like where we would put out, where he would put out these things where he would say, "I'm God, and these are my servants. These are the people that I'm out here humiliating, doing these things." Yes, okay, but that was actually the truth, what was going on.
Okay.
But it depends on the video.
Okay. All right. Did the videos differ over time where that, like you just mentioned, where he would have a video to say he was God or whatever he said? Was that something that he did for the entire time that you were around him?
It's interesting because when I first found him online, he wasn't saying that I'm God and everybody's living in my mind. You know, this is my world. He wasn't saying that. He was saying that each person was God's creation. Each being is God's creation, and we are all here to honor God's creation. So he would say, like, "You're God, I'm God. The bees, the trees are God. You know, the animals are God. All these things are pieces of God." But towards the end of my being there, it was like he's God and everybody else is living in his imagination.
Okay. And that was more toward 2021, 2022 timeframe?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, you indicated that, I'm going to jump forward to March 24th, 2022. You guys were living in a house here in Atlanta at that time, correct?
2020.
22?
2022, yes.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, March 24th, 2022. So, and you were staying at the house at that time as well?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And was living there as well?
I was living there as well.
Okay. And do you know if she was in a relationship with anybody at that time?
At the time of her staying at the house in Harbor Chase,
Yes.
she was with one other guy in the group at that time, like within that time frame of us being in that house.
Was his name Solar?
Yes.
Okay. And so was Solar with someone else also?
He had a relationship with Zoka at one point.
Okay, so he had a relationship with Zoka and with.
Yeah, different times. Sometimes, well, one time it was at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that things when they would have something like the one time at the same time? Was that something that was known throughout the house? Was that like just
polygamy or having multiple wives?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Was the sexual act just done in public also?
The sexual act done in public also. What do you mean?
Well, you just said that he was with both. What did you mean that Solar was with Zoka and Janae at the same time, as in he was dating both of them at the same time, or he was having a sexual act with both of them at the same time?
Oh, well, I don't know what they did sexually, but they were in a relationship at the same time.
So he would have a polygamous relationship where he would be with Zoka and at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so when people were in a relationship like that, would they live within the house in the same area? So if Zoka and Solar and they were together, would they all sleep together on the first floor, second floor, somewhere in the house?
Yes, yes. Everybody, no one really had their own space, so it was always just like but as far as like their little corner that they had at one point to sleep in with them three, they would sleep together.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Bishop would talk on the videos, did he use a more normal tone of voice, or was it a very slow and deliberate and dramatic tone of voice when he would be on the videos?
He would change. I don't think it was all the time the same thing. Sometimes he would get on video and he would have this sweet personality of this charming guy that you can relate to and you can understand. Sometimes he would get on camera and he would be the teacher or the professor or the therapist, or sometimes he would get on there and he would just be yelling and angry and cursing and things like that. And that's how he was. Okay.
All right. And so there will be a wide variety of Elijah Bishop on video.
How he don't know his own client name?
Okay. Now, March 24th, 2022, you watched, I think you said Zoka hit in the face, slap her, correct? Yes. Okay. And this was during a time that you guys were sitting around Mr. Bishop's desk and he was pontificating about something. Yes. Is that fair to say? He was upset with.
Yes.
Okay. And upset with him?
No, she was more of just like upset, like not getting her point across. Like, trying to tell her side of the story, but not at him.
Okay. And so ultimately she gets her bags. She's about to pack and get out there.
Yes.
Right? The bags were outside in the shed. She gets her bags and she's getting ready to leave.
Okay, yes.
Is that right? You witnessed that?
Ready to leave. Yes.
Okay.
She's getting ready to leave.
Okay. And so that would have been obvious to everybody since she has bags that she's leaving, right?
Yes.
And so you guys are you and the other women are following her around with your phones and your cameras, and you're kind of agitating her, provoking her, right?
Men and women, yes, everyone was.
Okay. Telling her that, if you leave us, that you're going back to the regular world, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, but she says, I'm leaving anyway, right?
Yeah, she wasn't really saying anything, but she was just kind of keeping her head down and trying to get out of there. But
okay.
Yes.
All right. And so she is able to call an Uber and get all that set up, and the Uber is outside. She's headed out to leave, right?
Yes, she was able to get an Uber through all that. Yeah.
Okay. While all this was going on and she was packing the bags and waiting on Uber, was anybody hitting her or hurting her during that time frame that you saw?
Not hitting her, but yes, being verbally hurtful. Yes.
People were saying mean things to her.
A lot of mean things. Yes.
Okay, but she was being bold and strong. She's leaving anyway.
She wasn't being bold and strong, but she was leaving. Yes.
Okay, she seemed fearful.
I think she was very in fear.
Okay.
Very much in fear.
Okay, and so she's fearful. She's hearing people say some mean things. Did you hear Mr. Bishop say mean things to her?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody was.
Yes.
They were kind of discouraging her from leaving, right?
Yes.
This was, we want you to stay, but we're not going to say nice things to make you stay. We're going to say mean things to make you stay because.
Yes, because we want you to know that leaving is going to be a mistake.
Right.
Yes.
And so it was to discourage her from leaving.
Yes.
Okay. Were there any physical threats made to her though? Like, we'll bleep you up or kick you?
Yeah, like if you leave and come back, once you come back, you know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
If you try to come back, you're gonna get beat up.
So that really wasn't a reason if you left, if you were fortunate enough to leave, if you came back, because you get beat up if you came back, right?
Can you repeat your question?
Yes, ma'am. There wasn't if you left and came back, there was a threat if you came back. So it really wasn't a reason to come back, right? If you needed
a reason to come back.
There was a reason to come back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of people left and came back, and the reason to come back is that you would think that the only way to really save your soul is to be in this man's life, is to confess that he's your Lord and Savior and your Messiah.
Okay.
Because at the end of your life, if you made the wrong decision to be out here in the world amongst people who don't know that and don't realize that, you would end up being condemned to hell.
So you being in hell or Babylon, as has been described, if you were not involved in his life.
Yes.
Okay. So people would come back and they would risk coming back and physical harm just because of that draw.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so people would leave and come back during that time frame. A lot.
People would leave. People left and come back. Came back a lot.
Okay. Men and women.
I'm sorry.
Men and women.
Yes, men and women.
Okay. All right. So she's leaving. She's packed up. Has she ever left before that you've seen in that time frame?
Not during this time frame, but before, yeah.
Okay. So since you had been around her, she had left and come back.
Yes, I believe one other time.
Okay. All right. So she's leaving. But she makes it outside after all that she's gone through. She makes it outside to the Uber, but then she turns around and comes back inside.
Yes.
Okay. And so she goes up to the second floor of the house where Mr. Bishop is waiting up there.
Yes.
Okay. Does he take her in his room or into another room?
To another room.
Okay. Is it the room for the girls or whose room is that?
Yeah, it's a room for the girls. Or just, it was originally, he made it up to be his kids' room. So it was bunk beds in there.
Okay.
But, you know.
Were there kids there?
Yes, my son was there.
Okay. How old was your son then?
My son at the time, he was almost 3 years old. So he was 2.
Okay. And who was the father of your son?
Aaron.
Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. True, the person named True or Ace. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was your boyfriend at the time?
He's my husband at the time.
He's your husband at the time?
Yes, we got married in 2020.
In 2020. Are you guys still married?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right. Now, you had a kid there with True or Ace. And so, Mr. Bishop, you see him, you told the state that he led her in the room. Did you see him physically push her in the room or do anything to touch her to make her go into the room against her will?
I can't remember exactly. So
Okay.
I'm not going to say that, yeah, because I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. So you can't say if he forced her to go in the room or not?
I can't say it.
Okay. You didn't hear him hit her or anything like that to make her go in the room?
No.
You didn't hear any physical struggle, or let me rephrase that, witness a physical struggle between them as they went into the room, did you?
No.
Okay. And so when they go in the room, is the door closed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if he went into the room first or she went into the room first?
I don't know.
All right. You really were not paying attention, maybe.
No, I remember seeing them in the hallway going to the third bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her like still being having that like upset look on her face. And I remember him walking towards there with her, but I can't remember exactly like if he was touching her or not. Like it was almost 2 years ago. I just can't remember exactly.
Were you on the second floor when they were up there?
No, I was on the first floor looking up.
Okay. And so once they go inside, do you hear anything else, any screaming or physical roughness upstairs, any noises you can hear?
No.
Anything that would lead you to believe someone's fighting or anything upstairs?
No.
Any yelling or anything that would leave people arguing upstairs at all?
I didn't hear that.
Okay. And so after that, then do you guys continue a party? Do you go to sleep? Do you clean up? What do you do after you see her going in that room?
So I was with the other women. We were in his bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were on the phone with someone. We were just talking and stuff like that. And then I remember shortly after, like just being in the room for a while, and then Alicia walking in the bedroom, and then after him, she came in wearing a different dress. Her hair was wet, like she had taken a shower.
Mm-hmm.
And she just sat on the floor, her head down. I remember that.
So she came in the bedroom that the rest of the girls were in, which was Mr. Bishop's bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And you said she was wearing a different dress or a different shirt?
A different dress. Like whatever she had on when she was leaving,
Mm-hmm.
she changed. She was wearing one of like our communal dresses, like the dresses. Because all the women share clothes.
Okay.
So she was wearing one of the dresses.
Were dresses a normal thing, or was it pants and shirts, or just
for women,
mm-hmm.
dresses were normal.
Dresses what women would normally wear. Okay. So the dress, so it's your opinion that she had a dress on when she was leaving, and when she came back, she had on, she went in the room with one dress on, came back out with a different dress.
She was wearing street clothes when she was gonna be leaving. So she had on pants and a top, or she had on pants.
Okay.
But when she came into the bedroom after, she had on a dress.
Okay. And you said her hair was wet as if she had taken a shower or something.
Yes.
Okay. Was that right after Mr. Bishop came in, or at the same time? Did they come in together?
It wasn't right after. It was like minutes after, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how long. But it wasn't like he walked in, she walked in after him.
Okay. Did they communicate when they were in the room?
No, I think no.
Okay. Did she communicate with you guys at all?
I went up to her.
Okay.
And I wanted her to look me in my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I might have touched her face or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, you know better.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. And you know better than what?
Know better.
To me, it meant that she knows better than to go against Mr. Bishop. She knows better than to disrespect or go against him in any way.
Okay.
She knows better than to say that she wants to leave, because we don't do that. We stay here and we deal with whatever we have to deal with.
Okay.
I just wanted her to know that, I was right. Basically, like we were right and she was wrong.
Okay. Okay. But you were saying it kind of in a sister type of way that, hey, that was a bad idea you just had.
I don't think it was a sister type of way. I just think that it was a way to keep the control of what we had there.
Mm-hmm.
Just to constantly reiterate that this was our purpose. What we're doing here is what we're supposed to be doing. You going out there is going against that.
Okay. Did she say anything back to you?
She just I don't know, maybe she shook her head, but she just like continued to look down.
Okay.
And just like, she looked like she was about to start crying.
Did she have her phone with her?
In that moment, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. And so do you guys go to bed after that?
Yes, like later on we went to bed. Me, her, and Zoka slept in the third bedroom. And when I woke up in the morning, she was gone.
Okay. All right. And when you woke up in the morning, it was, I'm assuming, past 9 o'clock, kind of a late sleep. Is that typical for you guys to sleep that late?
I don't remember what time it was. And it wasn't really typical for us to sleep in late all the time. Like, it just depended on what he wanted. If he wanted us to wake up at 3 a.m., we had to wake up at 3 a.m.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It was light outside when I woke up.
Okay. All right. So when you woke up, you didn't see her. Did you speak to her again after that day or later that day at all?
No.
Okay. Okay. Did afterwards, I think the state asked you, you would agree that you left in April 2022, but do you agree that even in March and early April 2022, you were making videos that were in support of Mr. Bishop?
You saying from March to April, was I making videos that were in support of him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
I was.
Videos that still, obviously you don't feel that way today, but in that time frame afterwards, you still felt in support of him and whatever teachings that he had. Is that fair to say? Is it after April 2022 that group kind of disbanded, you left and went back to your mom's house?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, after April. So in April of 2020, let me try this again. April 2022, you produced some videos where you were at a table with some other women discussing Mr. Bishop. Do you agree with that?
Oh, you're saying, that the live that we did on Vigo, when it was like the women sitting at his desk and we were talking on the camera?
I don't know exactly where you guys were sitting, but it was a bunch of women at a table or something.
Yeah, we were at that table, that long table, we were all dressed in black, and we were talking.
Yes, ma'am.
About him and how, yeah.
Okay.
I remember that video.
Okay. And you do agree you were in that video and you gave a long statement in support of Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
But you later changed your position?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And so ultimately you ended up leaving Atlanta and going back to your mom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just a couple more questions. When you were in the group, were there days that things were friendly and not cloudy as they sound? I mean, were there times that you guys had good times?
Yeah, there were.
Were there times that were the videos that were produced, were there times that they were actually authentic, where people were
where people were happy?
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't even know. Like, if like looking at it now from this perspective, I don't think anybody was really happy. I just think we wanted it to be what we wanted it to be. We really wanted it to be a good thing.
Okay.
We wanted it to be.
It was in existence. Is that, take your time, it's fine.
Yeah, we just wanted it to be good. We wanted to make a difference.
Yes, ma'am.
What the is my life?
What community were you trying to reach when you wanted to make a difference?
We wanted to reach all of humanity, but we were specifically, we wanted to help Black people to see that they were more than, what it was at the time. Like it was a lot of things in the media about Black people just dying and, and how our lives were insignificant. We were just wanting
change the narrative, like show that we could be something great and we can come out here, we can grow our own food, and we can live our own way of living, and we can go back to a way of living where we are kind to each other, where we are honest with each other, and we have compassion for the earth and each other and all things, and we can see ourselves in each other and other things. But it just turned into something very much not that way at all.
So the target population was African American people.
Yes.
And it was to try to turn them into a better state of mind.
Yes.
Okay. And that was the image that was portrayed, but it really wasn't that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the image.
Were the videos, was that the basis of the videos that were originally posted, was trying to get African American people to think smarter?
Yeah, trying to get them to think of themselves. Yeah, like trying to get them to realize that who they've come to be may be something of a fabrication. It may be something that they've learned to be or been programmed to be, but it's not who they really are, authentically.
Okay. And so it's kind of a turn back to nature.
Yes, go back to nature, go back to your natural self, your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just a number,
right.
You're something more.
And so is that why some of the videos were about teaching them?
Yeah.
And trying to encourage them?
Yes.
But it also was relationship advice as well that was contrary to what was actually happening. Is that what you're saying?
It was a lot of things that was contrary. It was a lot of things. It was relationship advice. It was discipline became, something that was abusive. It wasn't, it just wasn't what it didn't all align with the teachings.
Let the girl get off the
And
stand,
were the
child.
teachings based on the Bible, or were they kind of where did the teachings come from?
Well, Mr. Bishop thought that he was a messenger of God. So a lot of things just came from him and what he believed or what he felt like he experienced.
Okay.
He would tell us a lot about his visions or his, enlightenment and things that he felt. This is what the world is because I had this vision. Okay. This is what it is. But also using the Bible to kind of back up what he felt. Okay. And then also using like biology and different sciences to back up what he felt. You know?
And that's the same thing that he would be saying in his videos as well, tell the people, not just to you guys.
Yeah, some of the same things he would say in the videos, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Redirect?
Yes. So Kendra, you talked about like the way that sort of the origin story or primary like original mission of the group. And do I understand you correctly that it lost its way somewhere along the line?
Yeah, definitely. Like sitting here today, I don't know if it was ever what I thought it was or what we thought it was.
And what was the cause of that losing its way or not being what it was sold as?
It was Eligio. It was just his power control. He wanted control over everything and everyone involved.
And like, as time went on, and especially the second time y'all were in Atlanta in 2021, like, was he posting videos of like people having sex online?
Yes, a lot of videos.
And like, was that connected in any way to this origin story?
I don't know how it could be. I don't understand how posting sex videos online is a part of the teaching of having divine knowledge of self. I mean, we did believe in like liberation, but posting sex videos, I don't see how that is liberating for anyone. I mean, I guess some people may feel that way, but sitting here today, like, I don't believe that that's liberating for anyone.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. May she be excused?
Yes.
Okay. y'all doing okay? We need to stretch, restroom break.
They didn't get into like the sheets of toilet paper.
Bringing up some kind of trauma. When my clients usually get like this means that we found something that needs to be talked about. Okay? We just don't know. We just don't just not know, right? There's obviously something unspoken or something that needs to be talked about here that we've thrown away. We've put it in our little box and shut it down. You need some water? Okay. So, Babaji breaks your virginity.
Yeah.
What happens right after that?
So he's arguing with his wife at the time.
Who's this?
Velvet.
Velvet. Here we go. Velvet. Okay. So he's in this thing with Velvet again. What is he arguing about? You?
I don't know. I didn't hear, but I don't know what they're arguing about. But they're just arguing all night.
About?
I don't know.
Did you ever find out what they were arguing about?
Well, she came to me and told me she was not comfortable with the fact that he broke my virginity. She was feeling very insecure about it. And right after that, there was a lot of arguments. So I assume it was because of me being there.
Were you accepted as a wife at first?
It was really cool, so I felt very accepted. I can't remember every little detail, but from what I remember, I was accepted.
Okay, so try and get a clear picture here. She was accepted, and then after the virginity, she rejected you.
Yeah. Like she was very, like we was like friends off the bat until she broke my virginity, and then after that, it was.
Were you ever a wife? You were a wife. Well, obviously, you had to be a wife. You came in as a wife.
Yeah.
For him to break your virginity.
Right.
All right. Right. Did she know when he did it?
Yeah, she was there.
Excuse me?
She was there.
I'm sorry.
She was a part of the whole.
I'm sorry. Excuse me?
She was right there.
She was there during holding your hand.
Yeah.
No. Like holding your hand when you had your virginity broken.
Yeah.
By Babaji.
Yes.
And then after that, she said, "No, I don't like you. I don't want you around."
And
I'm trying to just figure this out.
Yeah, she didn't say I don't like you, I don't want you around, but she did say that she felt very insecure, that she was trying to figure out. She knew it had something to do with her own insecurities, and she didn't want me to feel bad about it. But it was like it was very uncomfortable for her that she had these feelings. And I told her I completely understood. I completely understand how she feels. And I wasn't trying to step on her toes or I'm not trying to take your man because, oh, he took my virginity, now I'm going to take your man and we're going to win him. Like, no, that's not my intentions. And I told that to her. I told her that, like, no, that's not how it's going down. You already know your position and I'm coming in and I know mine. I know that I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you.
So how did you feel when she rejected you after your virginity was broken? And they go to arguing. They're arguing, obviously, about you.
Yeah.
And where are you at with that? You finally, after all this time thinking something was wrong with you, clearly, you thought that you could never have sex or maybe something's going to be wrong with you. You finally get your virginity broken by this man. How do you view this man after he breaks your virginity?
First, I was just amazed because I just in disbelief, almost like that happened. It's because for so long.
What happened?
That he was able to break my virginity because I believed it could happen, but it was for so long it didn't, that it was amazing. And so after that, I viewed him like, wow, he's very amazing and powerful, and that's everything that I wanted. He's all that I wanted at that point. And
so his relationship with Velvet got in the way of your relationship with him.
Yeah.
Was he polygamous?
Yes.
like
And
before I
so
came.
you were in love with him, or you had feelings for him after the virginity break?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so his relationship with Velvet was in the way of that. How did that make you feel? That she didn't accept you? And that she was in the way of what you felt was your chance for love? It's okay to cry. We have some tissue, please? Can we get some tissue in here, please? It's okay to cry. It's okay. This is the moment. This is your healing. This is your therapy. Okay, crying is like letting out unwanted energy. And it's okay to let it out. You never got a chance to talk about it. Tissue, please, not a big white tissue.
Yeah, I felt rejected.
You felt rejected. Let's talk about that. Did that bring you back to maybe a childhood trauma?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't, wait, 1 second.
So this is still bothering you.
I'm like, yeah, I didn't even know I was there.
Didn't even know that that was there. That's what this is all about. This is all about getting you where you didn't know you were hurting and getting that out and exposing it and looking at it, right?
Right. I guess I always.
Therapy for me came at a time that was really pivotal, becoming a new.
As a child, I always felt like I was just different. My mom was she was always working. My dad wasn't there at all. And, I had a sister, an older sister.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to cry. And your tears are not just your tears. Your tears are the tears of others that are going through it too. If you hold it in, it's like swallowing poison. If you release it, it's what it is. It's a release. Let it go. It seems like Velvet triggered a trauma from your growing up. You felt rejected. Why?
Just because I felt like, everybody was worried about themselves and not thinking about my emotional well-being. Everybody was doing what they felt like was best for them. And even though I was taken care of with everything that I needed, I always felt like I was neglected of just having to me was there for me
Emotionally.
Yeah. Someone I can just talk to about.
So would you say that you had mommy issues? But even daddy issues, you didn't feel protected?
Right now, yeah. I didn't have either.
So you were looking to connect to Velvet as a mother figure, maybe? Or like a sister bond?
Yeah, it was like that. It did happen like that.
She didn't know that. She was triggered by her own traumas in that moment. And your traumas triggered each other. Your traumas were triggered simultaneously.
Yeah.
And she sounded like she might have had daddy issues, where she wanted all the attention of the man. And you sound like you might have some issues too, where you were neglected or you felt neglected. So in that moment, you felt neglected.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel neglected by Baba G or Velvet or both? This is your moment.
It's both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Both. Were you left alone?
I felt I was.
Mm-hmm. Why did you leave?
Leave where?
You know, the situation, carbonation. Why did you leave at that point? If you felt alone?
Because I had so much like to me, carbonation and what it represents, everything that I've ever felt inside of me, it was that. It's my like. It was no walking away from carbonation. It wasn't no like.
So you had committed yourself to your own spiritual journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you put your spiritual journey before any personal.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand that. So you said, I'm going to see this thing through.
Yeah, it wasn't about.
You're not going to run from your traumas or pains.
Right.
You've committed to this. There's no plan B. I'm going to commit myself to this.
Yes.
Okay, totally understand. So now what happens? They're arguing.
Yeah.
You're feeling neglected. You push away. You're single. Their relationship wouldn't allow you to be there. Their relationship wouldn't allow you to be there.
Yeah, I had at the time I was like, dang, I don't know what my position is.
Where were you? Where were you location?
Belize.
Belize.
Yes.
Beautiful
Belize.
place.
It was very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
And yeah, I was just thinking like, well, I don't really know my position. I don't know where I'm supposed to be, but I know I'm not going nowhere. I know that this is exactly what I want to do in my life. So I just
Enjoy the environment, enjoy the nature.
Yeah, and
love on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot. I realized that
you were learning a lot.
Yeah, I was learning a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Who about what she was teaching you?
About what she was teaching me, yes.
What else?
At the time we were writing a book, and that Robert G he wanted to put out a book of all the knowledge, and so I was just like all the time reading the knowledge, speaking it and reading it, and I was just like consumed by it. So it was all I was thinking about.
So fast forward, we meet True.
Oh yeah.
You've been single.
No, I went back to Tron.
You went back to Tron.
Yeah.
Really? Tell me about that experience. So you got neglected. You went back to Tron. Did you try to have sex? You're open now. You're open now. You're open now, right?
Actually, like we didn't try to have sex. I think that we had did something else. I didn't want to have sex with him. I told him that. I don't think we tried to have sex. I think it was more like.
So Tron never penetrated.
No. No, I never had sex with Tron.
Was there anybody else you was with in Tron?
I was with Captain Musa for about 2 weeks.
So you were with Musa.
That was Belize too. Yes.
You were with Musa.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's with Musa. Musa's a popular guy.
Yeah.
So Musa, did he penetrate you?
No, this is actually before my virginity was broken.
Oh wow. So it's Musa and Tron. Anyone else?
No, not before.
Okay, after you broke your virginity, then you went back to Tron. But you didn't have sex with him.
Didn't have sex with him.
Then what?
Didn't have sex with him. Then True came.
You broke up with Tron. Maybe?
I broke up with Tron when True was like, I broke up with Tron because there was a meeting and there was energy between True said that he was attracted to me and I was already attracted to him. This is when he first came. So I was already attracted to him, he was attracted to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna stay with Tron because really I'm only with Tron because of his need. I needed somebody. I feel like I needed someone at the time, and so I was just with him because he was familiar. He was a friend,
So you went to True.
Yeah.
Boom. Meeting's done. You were True. How is it? True.
So after that meeting, you know what I'm saying, that's my wife now, so I'm about to go ahead and push forward with these wifely activities. Right? So we ended up drinking that night. You know what I'm saying? I had just met Baba G. He really cool. He just like I had met, like I had envisioned him to be for online. So I'm drinking. He had went to the bag. He took it down, but I'm still in there DJing. Okay. So I'm in there DJing, playing the music on my phone and whatnot. I had a couple of drinks, a little wine and whatnot, and it was me, Sheeba, and Mama Bambi in the same room. I was on some like wild boy stuff, man. I ain't even care that Mama Bambi was in the room. I was like, she was fine. I'm finna try to hit tonight. I'm finna try to hit right now. And I'm trying to hit, and it's just like, I'm like, I ain't never ever seen nothing like that before. It just like that. It would not go. It just would not.
What wouldn't go?
My dick would not go in. I can use that language here, right? I can
just trying to say penis.
Okay.
Your penis, you could not penetrate.
I could not penetrate. I never ever had that ever happen to me in my life. I was like, wait, it's closed. I gotta come back later. I didn't know what was going on. Like, the office's hours was closed. It wasn't open. So I was like, okay. And I just let that be that. I was like, okay, boom, this ain't never happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just about to go ahead and go to sleep, take it down, and move forward on, you know what I'm saying, with the activities of the day.
Okay. And so moving forward. What was your relationship like?
The relationship was good. She was making me sandwiches and stuff. I'm serious. She was making me sandwiches and stuff. And we talking about my birth chart. I'm like probably I feel me. Now you know how you don't know now. When I first came to Carbonation, I was like super lit. I was getting in trouble and everything. She had to calm me down and balance my energy out, but I was super lit on the knowledge. And she was a good helpmate. She was a good support. She was. I always often meet women that are like either they be like stupid or something. They're not really interested in things that I'm interested in. But to have somebody that I was sexually attracted to and had the capacity to grasp what I was saying, and she also was helping me out, like I said, with the monthly duties or whatnot. And it was good. And then
fast forward, she gets pregnant.
She gets pregnant in.
Is it? Well, maybe. Well.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You wanna
tell me about the relationship?
Yeah. Well, I think
you guys were in love.
You say that. Yeah,
well, what would you call it? I mean, you guys were there together.
In order for you to be in love with somebody, that means you would have to actually truly understand that person. I think that a lot of the understanding that we should have got to was overlooked because of that sexual attraction, that initial attraction. So I think that we was moving off of that more than anything.
You finally got in.
It was like a tent Rambo had gave us. A tent. And it was dark that night. Wind was blowing. I was going to go for it again. Hopefully it don't be the same thing. And I got there, and it was some resistance, but I, you know what I'm saying, got in there, got through there.
Mm-hmm.
Finally got through.
Second.
They making it seem like it's like a hotel room or something. Can you get in the door or can't get in the door? Like, because, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. But you would think you couldn't get in because maybe you needed some play. You think you needed to do something to get in the door? Because I wouldn't know how Nature Nut was able to get in the door. But either who, all of this was to humiliate True at this point in time, right? Even though he's catching her out there, but the reason of this is for him to always sit there as usual and hear how he is not enough and he's better than him, which we know that he have done this to every single body. Now, far as her testimony, I think what Booker didn't realize is they may be out, but they still have some of his teachings in them. You're not talking, you're talking to you're talking with the people Nature Nut have trained. You're talking to the people Nature Nut have trained. So you, Mr. Nature Nut, did not teach you his lingo. That's why you couldn't break him, Booker. You couldn't break them. You're trying to catch them out there with dates and times because that's the only thing you think that you could do to prove them to be liars. And you want to prove that they don't know what they're talking about because they don't know if they was in Belize, Brazil. Oh, how? He's trying to get that type of reaction like they don't even know what time, what day, what they don't know nothing. So how can they know this? Now, we know people, Booker got, he has joined the cult. Didn't even know, right? Booker's going to be putting up a video on YouTube on how did I join the cult. I was a lawyer, but I done joined the cult and didn't even know, right? He wants the case so bad. He wants his name out there so bad. He wants his picture out there so bad. And on top of that, as Nene said, they are going to be doing the big fish don't want us little fish to get nothing, right? The big fish don't want us little fish to get nothing. So they took a good thing, like if you have people in there or not, or you have to wait to tell us what's going on inside, because they get to see stuff. But the big fish want all the money. They ain't put in no time, no nothing, but but evil who. So Booker wants his, even win, lose, or draw, he get to have his face on the camera. He is now part of history, right? Agreed, yes. Booker is now part of history. I'm going to do each testimony separately, so it wouldn't somebody doesn't have to sit there all day. They can look at one, then look at the next one, and then I'm waiting for Nene's call. When Nene call me, and I will give you an up to date on who is Nature Boy's witnesses, who is coming to the stand, right? And I got some other ones too that was really good, but I'm going to get off here, right? Because I want to see what's going on. I'm going to wait for her call. Like I said, any point in time, I will be going live because I want her to tell you guys up front what is going on, what is the action inside. And I would love to see who Booker call in first. I would love to see that, right? And that's that bull crap, though. They ain't want us to see it streaming live because they want the big fish to get all the angles, the cameras, and everything. That's that bull crap. But whatever, man. Whatever, man. So them big fish better. We've been through 7 years. They owe us some. They better break people off with some change. Shoot. But we will be definitely back. Go get your breakfast, depending on where you at. You might be just getting up. Get your coffee. I don't know. Do whatever y'all gonna do. I appreciate you guys there. I will see you guys in a little bit. All right. I'm not gonna say peace. I'm out because I'll be right back. Stay tuned for full coverage of Nature Boy Eligio Bishop's trial. I believe this is day 4 or 5. I don't stop counting, but I will put the day in the title in a little bit. Yeah, Bishop put the 3 didn't know it. That's what I said, right? He done joined the cult and didn't know it, right? Hey, Minister Deborah Davis, how are you, darling? And Jackie Love, Madeiri, Phone Fee, baby, Nick, Go get him some wig. Go get. I wonder. I know his Bigo friends was very upset, right? His Bigo friends, like the YouTube people, are very upset. His Bigo people is like the YouTube people is against Nature Boy because we watched it forever. Bigo people are for Nature Boy because they came in towards the end. They came in towards the end, and because Bigo is a crazy place, they think everything that man did was cool. So Bigo was like, yay, yay, yay. YouTube was like, no, no, no. So this is a battle between YouTube and Bigo right now. It's the battle. Because you notice ain't nobody on YouTube is none of his supporters. It's all Bigo people. Bigo people is very happy. All right, guys, let me get some information and I'll be back.